Good morning, everyone. It's Christine here with Conversations with Christine again. And today I want to talk about tips for helping your child's emotional well-being right now. But first I want to try something new, which is sharing this, not just here in my CK-ADHD coaching page, but also in my personal page. So hold on one second. Let me see if I can make this work. Maybe not. Nope, doesn't look like I can do that. So, all right, we'll have to work on that. All right, so tips today for, I got to get this to go away now. Tips today for, oh my goodness. There we go. Tips today. It's always something crazy. Tips today for having your helping your child's emotional well-being. And I did some research last night and found some really great websites that talk about things that we can do to help our kids. And I think they also help us. So one of those recommendations is to understand that kids' reactions to this can be all over the place, right? Nobody has the exact same response that other people do. And so being able to understand that can be really helpful. Some of your kids might be irritable and clingy, and some might be super hyper. Some might kind of demand extra attention. Just having some new and natural responses, they might be new and challenging behaviors, and knowing that that's a natural response to all of this is really important. So showing empathy and patience and calmly setting limits when needed can be a huge help. Another thing to do is make sure that there's, as best as possible, an adult around that can help be empathetic and manage those things, because this is a really big event in everyone's lives. But for our kids, this is huge because they're still in that developmental stage. So being able to help with that is going to be great. So someone who can, whether in person or way, be able to offer a consistent, sensitive care to them. Social distancing, which we're all practicing right now. So many of us are stay at home, work at home, play at home, learn at home. But social distancing shouldn't mean, especially for your kids, social isolation. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean going out in the neighborhood and playing basketball with a huge group of kids and, having the opportunity to pass that back and forth. But finding ways to have quality time with your kids, finding ways for your kids to have quality time with other relatives in the family. So even young kids can benefit from FaceTiming and talking on the phone and having those kind of things. There's a lot of other things, old-fashioned ways that you can go about that. Think about letter writing. I have a picture I took from a Facebook post that I will put in the comments of a nursing home who's looking to have people write letters to send in to their residents who don't get to see family and now aren't really getting to see each other within the confines of their facility because of all of the social distancing. So having your children write letters, participating in that sort of way, even little kids, if they can connect, you have a few minutes with a friend that you can connect to little kids on FaceTime. It's a great way to harness the technology that we are so often complaining about. And as kids ask for what's going on, providing age-appropriate information. So don't leave your TVs on to the news of all of this and, the mounting cases of it, the mounting death toll, all of those things. Don't leave your TV onto that, because that's not information that all kids need to know. Sometimes I feel like it's not information that I want to know every day. So age-appropriate information is really important. So limiting that exposure to the media coverage, to social media coverage, which as kids get older, that's harder. And adult conversations about it. If you and your partner or you and your spouse or you're talking on the phone with someone, kids pick up on our worries and our concerns and also our viewpoints on things. So, if keeping those things away from your children's ears can be really helpful as they sort through and live through this time right now. I love one of the things that that I saw was to create a safe physical and emotional environment by practicing the 3 R's. So that's not reading, writing, and arithmetic. It's reassurance, routines, and regulation. So that reassurance, kids need our reassurance that things are going to be okay. We will get through this. It might be challenging at times, but things are going to be okay. They need that reassurance, and they need to know that it's our job to ensure their safety, and we're going to be here as adults in their lives to do that for them. Routines, kids really thrive on routines, just to get a real sense of how of that. When you think about kids that go to school and they're there all day, 9 to 3 or 4, whatever time they're there, and they're doing their things. They're going from class to class with their teachers. They're going to specials. They're going to lunch. They're going to research. Everything has a time and a routine, and it's kind of expected for them. That happens all throughout their schooling till they hit 12th grade. And then kids go to college. And a lot of times, right, that's the first time they've had to make their own routines. Some kids do fine at that, but some kids really struggle, especially folks with ADHD, executive function disorders. So that idea of how routines can be so important, I see that with my college students who lose their sense of routine as for the first time they're kind of on their own with college things. So build in that routine for your kids. Let them know, okay, we're going to eat lunch at this time. We're going to eat dinner at this time. We're going to do school at this time. We're going to go outside. Let them have that routine. Have a time where you go in and wake them up instead of them wandering down at 11:30 for breakfast, and then the whole day is kind of off. So having routines can be really important. And then the last piece of that is regulation. So regulation refers to like emotional regulation. And so, when children are stressed, just like adults, their bodies respond by activating their stress response systems. Right? And it happens. It's that amygdala that gets flipped. It's that fight or flight. They just don't know what to do. And those stress responses start coming out. That's where you see some of the behavior that you maybe haven't seen in a while, or you see, crying, meltdowns, that sort of thing. Those are stress reactions. Sometimes difficulty sleeping right now, that's a stress reaction, and we want to minimize those as much as possible. So help them manage those things. Validate their feelings. I know that this might be scary. I know that this might be overwhelming. I know that you're sad right now about missing your friends. Validate that for them. Don't pass those feelings over. Don't push them aside. Validate those, because those are honest feelings that kids are having. They're honest feelings that adults are having, right? I'm on a board with teachers, and I see so many teachers posting how sad they are that they're not with their students. They miss their kids. That's what teachers live for, is to go to school and be with their students and be around them, and they're missing them right now. That's a valid emotion for people to have. And your kids are going to have those same kind of emotions. They're missing their teachers. They're missing their friends. They're missing that routine that they're used to. So acknowledge that and validate it. But encourage them to participate in some activities that help them regulate those, that help them self-regulate. So exercise is great for that. Doing something physical, getting out, taking a walk with them if you can, doing some jumping jacks when they start to feel sad or depressed. Do some toe touches, get up, move around, those kind of things. Help them learn about some deep breathing techniques when they start to feel overwhelmed. Taking in a deep breath, and in and out, and getting in tune with their body in a positive way instead of letting those negative stress responses build up. Regular routines for sleeping and eating are also really helpful for this. So it's thinking of those kinds of things that will help kids, keep them busy. Easier said than done sometimes, I know, right? But keep them busy doing things. I've seen all sorts of things. I've seen families that are painting their baseboards together. I've seen kids that are doing just tremendous artwork. Get out all the art supplies that you've put away for a rainy day. This is a rainy couple weeks. Get them out. Do some art supply things. Have them dust a room, right? They can, even little kids can dust. Give them a washcloth and send them off to dust, or do something that keeps them busy with things. Make games out of those things. See if we can, what can we get done in 10 minutes? Or how many of these socks can we match up, right? Every family, if you're like mine, you have a huge sock pile of unmatched socks, or they might be matched, but they weren't at the time they came out of the dryer. So make a game. How many socks can you match up? And then make a game of what is the craziest pairings we can make from the ones that are left, right? That's just something that keeps them busy. It's something to do, and they may find that it's fun and silly and that sort of thing. Get out blocks, do some brainstorming, have them help you think of things to do to keep busy. And then one of the things, and I love that this is in here because it's going to help when they go back to school, but increase children's self-efficacy. Now, that's a big word, right? What does self-efficacy mean? That's their sense that they have an agency or control over what's going on. So they have self-efficacy around their fear or their uncertainty. So if they can play an active role in helping themselves, then that lets them feel more in control. So how can they help the family during this time? How can they help themselves? They can help by following safety routines, washing our hands. We're going to wash our hands to stay safe during this time. Preparing. They can help cook. Oh gosh, it's time to help the family. That's one of the things, it's kind of funny, that I have found to be really, I don't know what the word I want to say is, helpful for me in this time. Not getting my kids to help cook, but cooking has become a pleasure these past, 8 days, maybe 10 days, that we've been kind of doing this staying at home more, and as kids' activities have gotten canceled. Because I do my work, I spend my day doing my work, spending time with the kids and doing that. But then when it's dinner time, there's really nothing else to do, right? We don't have to get anywhere to drop somebody off. We don't have to go anywhere to pick somebody up. We're not waiting for somebody to get home from something. It's just dinner time. And that is so, I think that that's actually one of the things that's leading me to be so much less stressed during this time. And I want to figure out, for me, that's my self-efficacy. How can I keep this control that I have over dinner? Such a small thing, but it's not. It's feeding my family. It's providing for my family. And I have a lot of control over it right now. So how, in my mind, I'm thinking, how can I continue with this feeling of self-efficacy around dinner time as we move out of this and get back to our old normal instead of the new normal? So building that sense of control for kids can be really helpful, that they can be doing something helpful during this time. The idea of writing letters to family members that maybe they haven't seen in a while, sending a card to a cousin, a picture that they drew for their cousin, that sort of thing. That's a great way to do. You can actually, I think, print stamps off the internet. So if you don't have any stamps in the house, you can just print them out. I'm not sure how that works, or you can save them and send them later. But that's a great thing. Also, as you're taking care of your kids and you're investing all this time to keep their emotional well-being on a good keel, make sure you're keeping your emotional well-being on a good keel. Doing the same things kind of for yourself, making sure that you feel the word is self-care these days, but really what's that mean? It just means taking care of yourself. Obviously, we're not talking about going and getting pedicures and manis and all that sort of thing right now, but we're talking about taking time for yourself, taking time for those little pleasures that maybe we don't have time for in our old normal. But in this new normal, we do. Taking time to sit down and read a little bit, taking time to even just enjoy brushing your little girl's hair, doing those sort of things that are self-care to you and refill your cup are really important. And the other thing, and this is always, so all of these things are good things all the time, right? They're just vitally important during this time of stress and uncertainty for families. But the last thing is an idea of emphasizing strengths emphasizing hope and positivity. So I think I've talked every day that I've been doing these little lives about positivity. So don't frame things in the negative. Think of how you can frame them in the positive. Oh man, I gotta do this again. It's no, I have the opportunity to do this today, and I'm going to do really good at it, or things like that. And emphasize your kids' strengths. Pick up the things that you notice that they're doing well. So maybe they have been bugging their sibling all day long, but you can take notice that, wow, I really liked how you sat and colored here for the past 10 minutes. Nice and quiet. That's really great. Thanks so much for doing that while I was on the phone. Right? So recognize those things. There's so many negative things that people can always find, but I feel like we don't always take time to look for the positive things. And that's what we can do right now. We have the luxury of that time because we're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything. There's no outside influences as much that come on us. So even folks, I know there's folks out there that are struggling with job loss, hours cut down, the uncertainty of what's going to happen when all this is done. But that's the piece where we're keeping positive for your kids, keeping positive for your children, and seeing their positivity, managing their stress levels is going to be really helpful. And if you think through all these steps, we don't want to cause trauma to our kids who are too young to really comprehend and understand those things. So as hard as it may be as a parent sometimes, being able to manage your stress so that it doesn't become your child's stress is really important right now. I feel like I can't say that enough, and it's hard because as parents, and as adults, many of us are stressed. Many of us are just struggling with this as much as or more than our kids. But understanding that how we respond in front of our children, how we act in front of our children, what we talk about in front of our children will influence how they come out of this time. And it's great to say, oh, kids are resilient, they'll be great. They will be if they're given the right tools to do that with. And that's what this today has been about, is making sure you have the right tools for your family. These are great tools for all the time, but they're really important tools for these times, these different times. So understanding that the reactions are going to vary from child to child, from adult to adult, and being okay with that. Social distancing, but not social isolation. Make sure your kids have social activities and that are doing things. Age-appropriate information. Your kids don't need to know more than they need to know. And so be careful what you're saying, what you're watching when they're around, because we don't think about it, but they're like little sponges and they pick up on all of that. Create the 3 R's: reassurance, routines, and regulation. Keep them busy. Find things to do to keep them busy. I mean, I don't know, it's crabgrass time. Send them outside on sunny days to pick crabgrass. They could be busy in some yards for a long time, right? So think of things like that. Increase their self-efficacy, their ability to feel like they have control over the situation. So find things to do that let them feel that control, by helping with dinner, by helping keep their family safe, by washing their hands. If you're comfortable with your kids with Clorox wipes, having them go around and wipe all the doorknobs, because then that makes them feel they're helping. They're helping to keep their family safe, and that's where that self-efficacy comes in. Create opportunities for you to take care of yourself, and emphasize strength, hope, and positivity. So those are the big things you can do right now and always to help ensure your child has a good emotional outcome throughout this time. And one thing that I encourage everyone to do is, we all have notifications on our phones, on our computers, where emails, texts, all that stuff come popping up constantly. And I've heard of high school students who are getting like 15 texts, notifications on their phone within an hour's period from classes or things being posted. You know what? In this time, turn them off. You don't need all of those notifications because it just drives the stress, drives the worry, and is frustrating and a distraction. So turn those notifications off. If you could do that for yourself, turn them off. The information doesn't go away, right? The information still lives there on your phone, on your computer, but you get in control. That's your self-efficacy. I am controlling when I see all of these things. And how can you control that? You can control it. Oh, losing my earpiece. You can control it by saying, okay, at 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock, I'm going to go in and check my emails and check my texts. That's it. You go in and do it and you decide, instead of coming in here, one coming in another time, another coming in, where you're always connected. And while we want to be connected during this time, we don't need to be connected with digital distraction. We need to be connected with people and things that are important to us. So that's just my little piece of advice, is turn off those notifications. Nothing's going to get lost. The world's not going to end because you didn't see that email right away, or that you didn't respond to the 20 you got in the past 15 minutes right away. The world is not going to end. So turn those off. Find a time. Maybe you have to check it every hour, but it's on your schedule, not on the random ones that are coming in, not on their schedule. So think about that. So today's been tips for how to help keep emotional health for your kids. I hope you found it helpful, and I look forward to talking to everybody tomorrow. Thanks.